Hello, and welcome to November's Clarity Spotlight. For the last several months, we have been focusing on clarity. We have focused on defining clarity, gaining clarity as educators, and sharing clarity with our students in hopes to support students in owning their learning. Check out these examples of clarity in this month's Clarity Spotlight. In Dot Berman's math class, she tried two new things this quarter to help students with the clarity piece. This helps provide students with the opportunity to respond. She first created a daily reflection form for students to fill out to see where they're at with their goal. The form then asks them to take a step back and see how they feel about the material. Once they do that, she's able to read through them and see if she needs to readdress something that was taught earlier that day or if they're able to move on. This helps guide her instruction. She realized that the daily self-reflection forms are really best utilized on a day where she has the students take notes on a new learning goal or intention and some success criteria that they may not have had before. She then created a magnet board, as you see on the bottom right. The magnet board, titled Where Am I At?, allows her to write down the success criteria and then have the students gauge where they're at by placing their magnet in one of the four sections. One being, I don't get it, and four being, I could teach it. She feels that the magnet board is used best on days where they've been practicing the skills as opposed to days where they're just taking notes. She says the students really respond well to the magnet board, and it is a quicker way to gauge where the students are at. So thank you, Dot, for these two great examples of providing students with the opportunity to respond. It's an excellent way of gaining clarity, sharing clarity by co-constructing the success criteria, and then having students kind of self-assess where they're at. The next example comes to us from Tara Haley's AVID class. This is adding clarity to an existing AVID strategy. In Tara's class, students work collaboratively using the collaborative study group's strategy. She noticed a problem early on that students start thinking of a problem, but then they just talk and go down rabbit holes and they debate and they get lost in random thoughts and ideas that loosely resemble their original question. The more vocal students take over and do all the talking while the quieter students just check out. So to solve this issue, Tara created a learning intention and success criteria to provide clarity for the critical thinking process that takes place during a collaborative study group. In the middle, you'll see her learning intentions and success criteria, where they're learning how to problem solve collaboratively. They can identify and use a critical thinking process to guide the learning and discussion, like T-charts or pro-cons. And then they can use that selected critical thinking process to stick to a topic and a format. So on the board there, you'll see her students working through a question. They picked a T-chart with pro-con before they started their discussion, and the discussion took place. And Tara noticed that by adding this structure to her collaborative study groups, a lot more collaboration is evident, and that students are actually getting through more collaborative study groups within the time frame. So great way of gaining and sharing clarity by adding a learning intention and success criteria to a strategy that she's already using. Thank you, Tara, for adding to our Clarity Spotlight. The last one comes to us from Emily Carter's English class, where she has gained and shared clarity through learning intentions and success criteria with her students. And so she took a moment to then have students self-assess on those particular success criteria in her English class. Self-assessing will also provide clarity. So in her class, she asked her freshman students to self-assess by mapping the learning tasks they have done in class to their success criteria to encourage the clarity piece. So they cut out each chunk of success criteria. As you can see here, here is an example of speaking and listening I can statements. And then they had to write down what task or what practice tasks they had to do to complete or practice these specific success criteria. Emily stated that this brought her students into the conversation about what it is they are learning and how they've been practicing it and where they need to improve. It also showed her students how far they have come and the progress they are making. She said she was able to go and sit with each one of them individually and talk to them about where they're at on the 4-point scale with each of these success criteria. So it brought them into the conversation to metacognitively think about what it is they're doing, why they're doing it, and how they know they're successful. Another great piece of clarity in our Clarity Spotlight November edition. Thank you to all of you who are continuing with the clarity in your classroom and our clarity culture that we're trying to build here at Frank Church High School. I, as your learning coach, am willing to work with each and every one of you on the clarity piece. If that is something you'd like, let me know, and I would be happy to